Hello guys, just look at this. So much healing, so much destruction. Lots of ignitions and lots of healing turrets. Yes, you heard me right. Healing turrets. We now have healing turrets in this game. They give restoration to you and your fire team. And we get massive ability regen with this build. Honestly, there's so much going on with this build, I don't even know where to start. But I will try. Its base, it's a healer build. You heal yourself and you heal allies extremely easy. But it also does a lot of ignitions. And ignitions, they do a lot of damage and they are amazing to clear groups of enemies. Let's start with the healer part. We are going to use the new Warlock exotic Speaker Sight. If you don't have it, you can choose it as a reward at the end of the Final Shape Legendary campaign, or you can level up the Cryptarch, and when you do, you will unlock the ability to buy any exotic you want. This exotic, Speaker Sight, what it does is healing grenades spawn a restorative turret, so the healing turret, and healing allies occasionally spawns an orb of power, which it's nice as well, but we want that for the first part. Our healing grenades, they will still heal on impact as normal, but now they'll stay on the ground and they will generate a healing turret that will heal you and your allies. It's very simple and very strong, so now we are going to build around it. And the first thing is no prismatic. Guys, I know prismatic is awesome, but I see lots of players trying to copy their old builds to prismatic. And maybe I'm too old, but I really like that saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So in my opinion, solar is the best subclass for this exotic. You'll see why in a minute. In Destiny, ignitions. Guys, our solar turret will ignite in 3 shots with this build. This is amazing, especially for difficult content. You go into a Grandmaster Nightfall and your turret is igniting enemies for you. It's great. And by the way, you have it back to back. And your melee also ignites. So now, Ilion, your solar turret, will ignite enemies, your melee will ignite enemies, and you have the healing grenade and the healing turret and the Phoenix dive to heal as well. So 2 ways to ignite, 2 ways to heal. It's so strong, this build. Oh, and I almost forgot. We have Song of Flame, the new solar super. It's crazy. Amazing for crowd control and for boss damage. It's so good. Bungie knew players would be upset because of the Well of Radiance nerf, so they gave the Warlocks an amazing new toy. So let's see how to build this into the best solar Warlock in the game. Super-wise, Song of Flame. Class ability is Phoenix Dive. It now has a smaller cooldown than the Rift, so it allows you to be more mobile. I like it a lot. And the melee is the Snap. It will ignite, so it does a lot of damage and it stuns unstoppable champions. The grenade needs to be the healing grenade. And the aspects are Touch of Flame. It will improve our healing grenade, so now it gives us restoration times 2. It's a really strong healing. Same as well right now actually. And the second aspect is Ilion, a solar mortar that lobs projectiles against targets and scorch them. So Ilion, our solar buddy, like I said, it will scorch targets, and with this build, in only 3 shots it will ignite. So good. On our fragments, let's start with one of the most powerful fragments in the game, Ember of Benevolence. Applying Restoration, Cure, or Radiant to allies grants increased grenade melee and class ability regeneration. Guys, it's 400% increased base regeneration. 400. And we have it almost every time because our turret is always healing players, so it's always refreshing our timer on Ember of Benevolence. It's a huge ability regen. So we have our healing grenade really fast. Sometimes we can have 2 or even 3 on the field. And our melee regen also amazing, and Phoenix Dive also great. It's one of the best fragments in the game. The thing is, it's a multiplayer fragment, so you need allies in order to work. You need to be in a team. Second aspect is Ember of Ashes. You apply more score stacks to targets. This will allow your snap to do an ignition and your alien to ignite in 3 shots. For our third and fourth fragment, let's go with Ember of Searing. Defeating scorched targets grants melee energy and creates a fire sprite. And Ember of Mercy. When you revive a player, you and nearby allies get restoration, and picking up a fire sprite grants restoration. So now you have Healing Grenade, Healing Turrets, Healing Phoenix Dive, and Fire Sprite that heals you around the battlefield. Guys, this is awesome, and I gotta say, there's more. But let's talk about some options here. Especially for Grandmasters or difficult content. This season we have a perk on our artifact that will make us Radiant when we collect Orbs of Power. And Radiant gives us 25% weapon damage, and it will allow us to stun barrier champions. So even though we'll have a lot of orbs with this build, sometimes you want Radiant on demand. And if you want Radiant on demand, you should swap Ember of Mercy for Ember of Torches. This way, when you hit enemies with your melee, with your power melee, you and nearby allies will get Radiant. This is awesome for difficult content, especially, to burst down champions. You just use your melee, you have Radiant straight away, so if it's a barrier champion, he's gone. So good. For general gameplay, you don't really need it because you're going to find so many orbs on the ground. So there are these 2 options. Let's talk about weapons. No Hesitation is a new auto rifle from the Pale Heart, and it's absolutely perfect for this build. It was made for this build. It's the first support frame in the game. It reads, flexible and agile, capable of healing allies and hurting foes. Arming targets builds a restorative charge. If firing at allies while this weapon is charged, heals them, with rapid healing increasing weapon damage and bestowing restoration to allies. So now you can heal your allies on demand. Yes, you have all your abilities, but you also have this amazing auto rifle, the most popular auto rifle in the game right now. And it doesn't stop here, because you can have a trait called Physique. Rapidly healing allies grant restoration to you and allies. So now you have a weapon that can heal you and allies when you shoot them. Guys, this is so good. You know why? Because this will activate Ember of Benevolence, making your abilities regen 400% faster. Not that you need it, because your turret is proccing the same, but more options, more alternatives to proc Ember of Benevolence. But again, there's more. The origin trait, Dealer's Choice, is final blows with this weapon grant a small amount of super energy. Equipping multiple weapons from the Pale Heart increases this effect. So now we pair it with the new rocket sidearm, the Call, and we get a lot of super energy when we kill with one of these weapons. We can have a third one, but normally I leave it for an exotic weapon. This is amazing. So you're getting your super even faster, and it's an amazing super. And guys, we're only halfway. This build is so complete, is so good. On our artifact, let's focus on 3 perks. First one, Overcharge Armory. Weapons with the Dealer's Choice origin trait are always overcharged weapons for you when that modifier is active. This is really good. Next one, winning hand. While using weapons with the dealer's choice origin trait, combatants' precision final blows or rapidly defeating combatants cause the target to explode, dealing solar damage to nearby combatants. Having several equipped weapons with the dealer's choice origin trait increases the effect of the explosion. Now, I already have incandescent on my weapon. If you want a different one, this is basically incandescent on the artifact. And guys, I want to focus on the one Radiant Orbs, on the one that gives you Radiant when you pick orbs. So Radiant Orbs, while you have a solar subclass, picking up an orb makes you Radiant. This is very, very good. And I also want to show you this one. This one is amazing. Shield Crush. While you are amplified or radiant, your grenade recharges faster and deals increased damage. We don't care about the damage here, we care about the regen. So even faster grenade regen with this one. This build is crazy. Stats wise, go with 100 resilience for max damage resistance, then 100 discipline for faster regen on our healing turret, and what you can on recovery as a third option. On our armor mods, on our helmet, let's go with 2 harmonic siphons. Now when we spawn an orb, when we score a multi-kill with our solar weapon, that orb will give us 3.25% of our super bag. And power preservation. Guys, Song of Flame is an amazing super, and it kills so many enemies and it generates so many orbs. And one thing I really like is overkill. It already does a huge amount of orbs. I want more, so I'm using power preservation, so now I can generate more orbs for my allies and for myself as well. On our gloves, let's go with harmonic loader and harmonic dexterity. The weapon is a huge part of this build, so this way it will reload faster and the stow and ready animation is faster, so it feels snappier. And grenade kickstart. When you have armor charges and you throw your grenade, you get energy back. On our chest, let's go with arc, solar, and void resistance. I normally go with these 3, but now there are new types of enemies that shoot stasis and strand, so you kinda need to cater this resistance depending on the activity. I'm trying to be as fast as I can now because I don't want to make the video really long. On our boots, let's go with innervation and recuperation. So now when you pick an orb of power, you get 10% of grenade energy back and you heal yourself just like that. And stacks on stacks. When you get that orb of power, instead of 1 charge, you will get 2. On our class item, let's go with Bomber. So when you use your class ability, in my case Phoenix Dive, I will get 12% grenade energy just like that. I also like Distribution. So when I use my class ability, I'm going to near enemy. An enemy needs to be 15 meters away from me, which most of the times they are. I'm going to get 4% ability energy for my grenade, my melee, and my class ability, and I will get 2% super back just because I did my Phoenix Dive. 2% of my super back just like that. Awesome. And Proximity Ward. I love Proximity Ward. It helps me so much, especially on Grandmasters. I'm always rushing enemies, so this way when I'm doing a finisher, I know I won't die. If you don't like this one, Powerful Attraction will also fit really good with this build. And guys, that's the build. It's a 15-minute long video. I know it's a lot. I try to be as complete as I can with this build because this build has so many good things going on. I love it. Honestly, I did this build because I play with a friend, and he's ex World of Warcraft player, and he's an MMO player. And when he plays MMOs, he always go for a healer. And I wanted to do this build for him. But when I started to play with this, okay, it's a healer build, but it's also a ad clearing machine because of all the ignitions. Your weapon is amazing, your solar body is amazing, so many things going on. It just became my favorite solar build right now in the game. So yeah, I love it, and I hope you love it as well. I hope you guys like it. So let me know in the comments what you think. What you think about the fashion with this helmet. I went like this. I don't know. Do you like it? Do you have any suggestions? I like to have like a different fashion, a different look for every build I do. So yeah, that's the one I use with this exotic. But well, thanks for watching. I know it's a long one. I'll see you in the next one. See you guys.